Looking inside the boot, the first thing that you'll see is this silver rib cage. This is the TPU bottom frame that Adidas have talked about. The idea behind this innovation is to keep the outside of the boot rigid around your foot. This enhances the fact that it's only a single layer boot and gives you a bit of added protection when you're playing the game. Rather than being able to replace the full chassis like the Tunic, the adiZero revives a classic piece of F50 technology with the replaceable sole. The two options included in the box of the adiZero are the ultralight and the comfort. There's not a great deal to choose between either of these liners. As you've seen, the comfort sole has some extra foam-like padding under the ball and the heel of the foot to absorb impact, and the ultralight is dotted with tiny holes that not only reduce weight, but also keep the boot breathable. As mentioned before, the liner won't make any great deal of difference to your game, but it's a nice addition to the overall package, and if you happen to suffer from any knee problems, the extra padding of the comfort liner will probably help take the edge off of running on particularly firm ground. Short of destroying a pair of boots, there's no fair way to test how durable and protective a pair of boots are besides giving your opinion based on what you felt in a match, except for the sake of this video, we thought we'd try stretching some blue tack over the top of a boot liner, which you'd get with any new pair of boots, and then putting it inside the boot that we're testing, the Adidas F50 adiZero, and then standing on it with the same boot. That gives a fair test, of course, based on the stud shape and size, and then seeing how much of an imprint the studs of the boot left through on the blue tack. As you can see here on the blue tack, there's a bit of an imprint down to the bottom left corner where most of the pressure was applied, but overall there's not been a great deal of impact left on the boot. This is particularly impressive when you consider that the adiZero only contains one layer with no extra padding or protection aside from the mentioned before bottom frame of TPU. Looking at the sole of the boot, your first impressions are that it probably looks quite cheap. I know that was mine. It's got good bend in the toes, and it's quite stiff in the middle, which means that it'll bend when you're running and stay stiff when you're shooting through the ball, which are obviously two fantastic qualities for any top boot. When playtesting the boot, we found that the sole of the boot performed quite admirably. To say that it doesn't have any fancy carbon fibre inserts or anything that you might see on other boots on the market, it just does the job quite simply, and keeps weight down. Another aspect that Adidas have been keen to beef up is the heel counter, which might not go as high as many other boots that you've seen, but nonetheless it's made of stern, stiff plastic that will give you protection against any knocks around that back end of the boot. Despite the heel counter having been upgraded and made a bit bulkier, it doesn't really add much in terms of weight to the boot. It's again made of the same plastic that runs through the sole, so you know it's kept light and thus keeps the whole boot weight down.